I never thought anything like this could happen in America. Never thought it could happen.
Former President Donald J. Trump, outraged and defiant.
The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it.
His demeanor, a stark contrast from what cameras captured hours before in a Manhattan courthouse, when he became the first president in the history of the United States to be indicted on criminal charges. Those charges unsealed for the first time today as Trump turned himself in.
We have seen nothing like this before. There's largely been an unspoken agreement that presidents and prosecutors alike would not go after presidents or former presidents. This now opens the door to pursue charges against presidents, whether it be past, sitting, or future. And that is a big deal.
Trump was charged with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, allegedly to cover up a catch-and-kill scheme to suppress negative stories in order to help his chances of getting elected in 2016.
In order to commit the scheme, what this indictment says is former President Trump falsified a lot of business records. These were hush money payments, and they were recorded as legal fees to former Trump fixer and attorney Michael Cohen, when in fact they weren't legal fees. These were reimbursements for hush money payments that Cohen made. So that's essentially the scheme that the indictment describes, and it connects those charges to conspiracy to interfere with an election, which is a state crime, and it also references both tax offenses and federal campaign finance violations, although the documents we saw today don't really develop those theories.
He pleaded not guilty to all the charges.
He has worked his entire career in an attempt to avoid a day like today. But here he is, and I'm sure he is completely amazed and despondent that he's in this moment.
The statement of facts laying out 3 specific instances of alleged criminal conduct, which prosecutors say also violated state and federal election laws.
On one level, this seems like a very straightforward and pretty clearly strong case. There are 34 felony counts of falsification of business records, and it seems pretty clear that former President Trump falsified various types of business records. What I think is trickier is that those cases, those crimes are being charged as felonies because they were committed, according to the DA, in furtherance of other crimes.
Prosecutors allege Trump orchestrated a criminal scheme with his former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen and his friend, former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker, to pay out hush money to at least 3 people, including adult actress Stormy Daniels. Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, alleged in a 60 Minutes interview that she'd had an affair with Trump in 2006, just months after his wife Melania had given birth to their son Barron, an affair he denies.
Did he mention his wife or child at all in this?
I asked, and he brushed it aside, said, oh, yeah, you know, don't worry about that. We have separate rooms and stuff.
It was a payment Trump initially said he knew nothing about.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
But Cohen, who turned against his former boss, later testified that he made the payment to Daniels at Trump's direction to silence her before the election.
This is not revenge, right? What this is about accountability. He needs to be held accountable for his dirty deeds.
In July 2018, Trump's former power player first broke his silence to ABC News, months after the FBI raided his home and office, seizing a trove of documents, including that payment to Stormy Daniels.
He directed me to make the payments. He directed me to become involved in these matters. I gave loyalty to someone who truthfully does not deserve loyalty.
He was trying to hide what you were doing, correct?
Correct.
And he knew it was wrong?
Of course.
In 2018, Cohen was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to a number of financial crimes, among them campaign finance charges related to the payment. Prosecutors also allege that the Enquirer paid off a Trump Tower doorman who was trying to sell a story about Trump fathering a child out of wedlock, a story the tabloid later concluded was not true. That doorman spoke to ABC in 2018.
Did you believe they were paying you to pursue the story or to kill the story?
Oh, initially I thought there was really, the Enquirer report stories, so I figured, they wanted to report the story. That's what I thought. But now as I look back on things, it made sense to me. It makes sense to me more so that they were just pretty much trying to quiet me down.
Prosecutors also allege that in June of 2016, just months before the election, Pecker informed Trump that a woman, believed to be former Playboy model Karen McDougal, had approached the Inquirer claiming she'd once had an affair with Trump, an affair he denies. McDougal sharing details about the alleged encounter with CNN.
Did he ever use protection?
No. No, I didn't.
Ultimately, the Inquirer paid McDougal $150,000 for her story, but never published it. If convicted, the 2024 presidential hopeful could face time behind bars.
So these felonies, in theory, have a maximum punishment of up to 4 years in prison. There would be questions about whether sentences run consecutively, right, one after another, or concurrently, all at the same time. But I think that, we're in the realm of speculation here.
These are felony crimes in New York State, no matter who you are. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct.
The case was brought by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg.
Under New York State law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud and an intent to conceal another crime. That is exactly what this case is about. 34 false statements made to cover up other crimes.
The 49-year-old Democrat was elected to the DA's office in November 2021, highlighting his track record of holding Trump, his business, and his family accountable.
I've been doing this for 24 years. I don't bring cases prior to a thorough and rigorous investigation. Now, having done so, the case has been brought.
Many Republicans quick to slam the charges and the process. Even GOP Senator Mitt Romney, the only Republican senator to vote to convict Trump twice at his 2 impeachment trials, put out a statement saying, "I believe the New York prosecutor has stretched to reach felony criminal charges in order to fit a political agenda."
There'll be people who will continue to support the former president regardless of what comes out. And there'll be those who think it's time to move on and have a more forward-looking vision for the Republican Party.
For his followers, this looks like Donald Trump's accusations of a witch hunt coming to fruition. But does that actually play out when it comes time to vote? That has yet to be determined.
The former president returned to his hometown for a surreal 24 hours. Trump left Mar-a-Lago on Monday afternoon, flying to LaGuardia Airport aboard his own plane. Today, his motorcade whisking him downtown to the New York Supreme Court. Outside, political theater, hundreds of supporters and protesters gathered, but the scene remained peaceful. But inside, beyond the glare of cameras, Trump surrendered, was arrested, booked, and processed. His fingerprints were taken, but no mugshot. ABC News producer Olivia Rubin was inside the courtroom.
Former President Trump in court today not saying much. There's actually one point where the judge had to ask him to speak up because he was speaking so quietly. And by the time the former president was leaving that courtroom, it was completely silent and he exited without saying anything.
Trump spent 57 minutes in the courtroom. He immediately flew back to Florida, where supporters were waiting for him. The former president's next potential court appearance is slated for early December.
Sounds like they were talking today about a possible trial date. So we could be looking at, within a year or about a year from now, an actual trial in Manhattan. You have to imagine that President Trump would be at least interested in the possibility of testifying in his own defense.
Today's arraignment is just one of numerous potential criminal charges the former president is facing, with multiple other investigations looming.
I think it's possible that there will be kind of a dam-breaking phenomenon here that, eases the burden on the other investigators and allows them to move more swiftly.
Tonight, the president addressing some of those investigations and trying to flip the script for his benefit.
With all of this being said, and with a very dark cloud over our beloved country, I have no doubt, nevertheless, that we will make America great again. Thank you very much.
And for more on President Trump's response tonight, ABC's Rachel Scott is at Mar-a-Lago. Rachel?
Juju, within hours of the former president learning that he was facing serious felony charges, he boarded a flight, landed right here in Florida to hold what felt like a campaign-style event. Trump taking his time, working the room, waving to supporters, taking the stage to chants of USA, USA. Two people who were not in the room tonight, Ivanka Trump and his wife Melania Trump, though we did spot several of the other president's children, including Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., and Tiffany Trump. He wasted no time going after the Manhattan District Attorney, insisting that he's been out to get him since the very beginning, brushing off all these charges as purely political and insisting that they need to be dropped immediately. This is a very early glimpse into how the former president will be handling this on the campaign trail in 2024, Juju.
Rachel, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.